So today we are going to talk about the rock cycle. Before I begin, I just want you to make sure that you get the rocks and mineral little fill out sheet from Miss Gerber before you listen to this, because I want you to fill this out as you go. If you have already read the page 158 to 159, that'll really help you. If you already have this sheet filled out and you just need someone to help you go through it, that's what this seminar is for. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, on this piece of paper there is a little bit of review. So what I need you to do is tell me what a mineral is. So think about it for a little bit. If it's filled out on your sheet, read it to yourself and just tell yourself what a mineral is. So a mineral is what we just went over last time. So the definition of a mineral is a solid, typically inorganic material that is naturally occurring with a fixed composition. So that kind of answers our next question on what are the properties or the 5 characteristics of a mineral. As you remember that we talked about last time, SNIFE. So a solid, naturally occurring, inorganic, fixed composition, and an element. So now I want you to either pause, or if you've already done this part, then you could just skip right over it. I want you to, if you don't know any examples of a mineral, to go through your book and find examples, or to Google some examples of minerals so that you have a few examples. Alright, so now that we've done that, we are going to move into the rock cycle. So what is a rock? A rock is a naturally occurring solid mixture of one or more minerals that may also include organic matter. So that is the definition part on your sheet that you're filling out. That is the definition that I want you to have. The next part is that most of the solid parts of the earth are made up of rocks. Now that we are talking about rocks, there are 3 types of rocks. The 3 types of rocks that we are going to talk about is igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. So those are the next 3 shapes that you are going to go through. You're going to write one in each box, and then as I go through what each of them are, I want you to fill those sections out. So igneous forms from cooling of magma. So as you can see in these 2 pictures, that igneous rocks are just cooled magma. So the volcanoes erupt, lava comes out, and then it cools and it turns into magma. The longer the cooling takes, the more time that crystals grow. So as this is cooling, it's forming crystals. So it's kind of like having minerals in it. So the next one we're going to talk about is metamorphic. So metamorphic is made from high temperature and pressure that change the texture and the mineral contact of the rock. So the way that metamorphic can be changed is by temperature itself, so just temperature, or it can be just pressure, or it could be a mixture of temperature and pressure. Another way that it can form is by fluids or other chemicals. But the main thing that I want you to know is what is on your screen right here. This is what you need to have for metamorphic description. Sedimentary. Sedimentary is the last type of rock that we are going to talk about. For sedimentary, as you can see, it is composed of minerals formed from solutions or sediments from older rocks. So, as we talk about this, sedimentary rocks are named according to the size and type of fragments they contain. So they can contain a variety of different rocks or different solutions from older rocks. The reason I want you to know these 3 rocks is because this is the base of our rock cycle that we are going to talk about. So now that you have that sheet figured out, I have another sheet that I want you to fill out as we talk about the rock cycle. So I need you to pause, I need you to get another sheet, and if you already have the sheet, then I want you to flip to that sheet so we can talk about the rock cycle. So what is the rock cycle? The rock cycle is the changing of one rock type into another rock type. So what that means is I can change a sedimentary rock into an igneous rock, an igneous rock into either a sedimentary or a metamorphic rock. So the four factors that we are going to talk about is temperature, which everyone knows is just the heating and cooling, pressure, which is the amount of pressure that you put on something, and then there's weathering and erosion. That is why we talked about weathering and erosion before we did this topic, because weathering, like you know, is the breaking down of rocks and minerals, and erosion is the movement of rocks from one place to another. So with that sheet of paper, I have included this picture. So what you want to make sure that you have filled in is that you have metamorphic rock, you have sedimentary rock, and igneous rock. And as you will see in the handout that I gave you, it's a little different than this setup. But I'm going to pull it up. Give me 1 second. So this is the one that you have in your possession right now, the ones that I printed off and given you, and you have a little word bank at the bottom here that is going to help you. So as you need to know that you need to fill out where sediment rock goes, where metamorphic rock goes, and where igneous rock goes. And after you have done that, you need to fill in whether it's weathering and erosion that affects it, heat and pressure, compaction and cementation. And then if you look in Buzz, there will be an answer key. So this is your task that I'm giving you at the end of this. And if you need to have another place where you can find this, if you look in your book, there is another chart that looks exactly like this one. So I just want you to have this. So I want you to take this, make it for yourself, and put it in your science notebook so that when we do the crayon lab, you know what the rock cycle looks like and what rock turns into what rock and how it turns into that rock. So this is the rock cycle and the different types of rocks. Thank you for listening.